There have been apparently many complaints made about it being parked here, and there's been no action taken on it.
This boat that appears to be abandoned has been tied up at the public boat launch here at Bluffers Park since last summer. Now recently it came loose and partially sank. Residents in the area who are worried about the potential for leaking gas have been trying to bring attention to it for several days to no avail.
I phoned every governmental environment agency I could think of. Other community members have made calls as well and brought attention to this, so that the more noise that can be made about it, maybe the more accountable somebody's going to be to get it out of there.
Corey Campbell has lived in the area for 57 years and says it wasn't till recently that she began seeing boats being abandoned, including one that has been floating around the basin for a year. She says she's surprised they haven't been dealt with for several months.
The authorities can tow cars that are abandoned on your street in front of your house if it's there for a couple of weeks. How this has sat here since last summer at the very least doesn't make any sense to me.
CityNews also reached out to several government agencies to figure out who is responsible for removing the vessel. We learned Transport Canada and the Canadian Coast Guard are taking the lead to enforce the Wrecked, Abandoned and Hazardous Vessels Act. In a statement to CityNews, Transport Canada says they have made several attempts to contact the owner. Pending further assessment from the Canadian Coast Guard, the Navigation Protection Program may be required to take action to remove the sunken vessel without locating the owner. Meanwhile, Corey says the boat is now leaking gasoline, which is a potential hazard for the thousands of birds and other animals that call the area home.
They can determine who belongs to later. In the meantime, they've got to get it out.
Now, the Coast Guard tells me their investigation will focus on whether the boat does pose a pollution risk or hazard. And since we've been following this story, the Toronto and Region Conservation Authority has installed these bird deterrents as well as some spill protection along the water. And they tell me they will work with various agencies to help remove the boat, protect wildlife and mitigate any environmental damage. For more on this story, you can go to our website, citynews.ca. For City News, I'm Dilshad Burman.